welcome to my channel. My name is Jessica Feliciano and I wanted to do this video as a get to know me. So I'm 26 years old and I'm married. We've been married for 7 years and it'll be 8 years in September. And I wanted to document our fertility journey / IVF journey and just give you some information on the whole process, what we're going through. I want to do weekly updates on our process. Our appointment for our consultation is next week, and I just have so much information because we've been dealing with fertility issues for quite some time. I had a couple medical problems that were not diagnosed properly, and I want to just help someone that may be going through the same thing that I'm going through. I wrote some notes so that I'm not rambling. We knew there was a problem shortly after we got married. We got married really young. I was 19, my husband was 21, and we wanted kids. We were very excited. We wanted to have kids. We probably wanted them right away if it happens. I wasn't on birth control, and we weren't using any sort of protection when we got married, in the hopes that we would have a surprise baby. About 6 months into our marriage, we realized there was an issue. I kept going to the doctor. I had some pain, right-sided pain, and it turns out after an ultrasound I had a cyst on that ovary, and it was a pretty sizable cyst, 2 milliliters or so. So it's about the, pretty big size. Your ovary's not that big. And so they recommended a follow-up ultrasound 4 weeks after that, let's say. I can't remember. This was in about 2012, 2013. So I went, and it turns out that the cyst had decreased in size. Now, this was an ongoing battle that we had. I would get pain, go to the doctor, have an ultrasound. The ultrasound showed a slightly bigger cyst, and then I would go for the follow-up, which is their protocol. And then since then the cyst would decrease in size. I felt like I wasn't getting the right medical treatment because I was so young, and I was kind of naive, and I wasn't advocating for myself. And that's one thing that you should always do, is advocate for yourself, because your doctor will not know what's going on unless you specifically voice what is going on. And I feel like with fertility issues, a lot of the time women are scared. They don't want to admit there's a problem, and it's sort of like a taboo that nobody speaks about. There's a stigma on fertility issues, and I feel like we need to remove that stigma and just come together and share as much information as we can, because that's how we're going to grow and get over this. So in late 2014, I decided that I needed to do something about this because I was having unbearable pain. It was really affecting our marriage. It was affecting my mood, and it was so uncomfortable. My menstrual cycle was so painful. So I decided to see a fertility specialist, not necessarily for fertility at the time. It was more so to figure out what is wrong. And so I had a great doctor, and he took his time with me. We did a questionnaire, and then he performed an ultrasound in the office. And that day he kind of said that my ovaries look a little cystic, and he definitely confirmed that there was a cyst on my right ovary that was about the size of a lemon, maybe. So we set up for surgery, but before we did that, he decided to do an x-ray called an HSG x-ray, which it consists of them putting a solution guided with x-ray, and it goes into the fallopian tubes to see if there's anything causing blockages, and to confirm, like, if there is a blockage, that's the only way to confirm it doesn't show up on an MRI or CAT scan or any other imaging. It only shows up in that imaging. So we did that, and he did confirm that both my fallopian tubes were blocked, and he suspected it to be endometriosis because my symptoms matched up with the endometriosis. So it looks like that scarring was due to the endometrial lining, and then also the cyst that I was getting was also an endometrial cyst, so it would like get bigger, get smaller, get bigger, get smaller. So we decided that the best route of treatment would be to remove both fallopian tubes and to also cauterize any endometrial cells if you saw any during the surgery, and then also remove the cyst that was causing a lot of pain in the right ovary. So I was 22 when I got this information, and I was very distraught. It was really, really hard to take because you know, I didn't want to have a surgery. I was scared, and I know this was going to make it a lot harder to have kids, and kids is, you know, something that we both wanted. My husband wants kids, we want kids, and it was really hard to even you know, grasp that news. And so I remember I actually went to the consultation by myself, and it was about an hour and a half from my house because that was the office that the doctor was at, and he had to deliver this news to me. And I remember just driving home, and I was crying all the way from where I was all the way home. It was so bad. But you know what? I do believe in God's perfect timing, and I feel like this year will be our year. I'm so strong in my faith right now because of all this, and it's really going to lay the foundation down for when we do have children. That way, you know, they can grow up and just be strong in Christ, and just to have a relationship with God is just, I do believe in the timing, because from 22 to 26, I've seen my relationship change with my husband. We're a lot more mature. We have our finances in order now, and we're getting there. I work in the medical field, so sometimes it's a little bit easier for me to grasp information, and I know a lot of times doctors don't explain what's going on, or they explain in medical terms. It's hard for the patient to understand what's happening. So I feel like with my medical field background, and me just wanting to help other women, I feel like the information that I'm going to give would be really useful, maybe to help someone. And then this year, last year, 2018, I also got diagnosed with a secondary condition called pelvic congestion syndrome, which there's not a lot of research on, and there's actually not a lot of people that know about this issue. And actually a lot of women struggle with this because it can happen at any time, and I do believe that this pelvic congestion syndrome happened directly after my surgery. A lot of times women develop this after they have babies, and it's actually super painful, and it's sort of like varicose veins that you would get in your legs, but within your pelvis. The imaging that they would use for this is an MRI, so I did receive an MRI, and I had to go to a vascular surgeon to get it was the uterine vein that was inflamed. They had to drain it. So I have a incision here. They went through the carotid artery, so that's the artery on the neck, and they put a catheter through the carotid, and then they went in and they drained they drain the uterine vein, and I can make another video on that experience because I was super scared going into this. I never heard of anyone having this surgery before. It was a quick surgery. I was super scared, and I can share my experience on that, but I did want to mention that that was another cause for my pain, and a lot of the times it goes undiagnosed, and I really wanted to voice that. So if anybody else is having these kinds of issues, you know, they can maybe suggest it to their doctor and really voice their opinion, and, you know, just advocate for yourself because you are your best advocate. I hope you guys find this video very helpful, and that the information that I'm going to give to you would be useful in some way. And I can't wait to do our weekly updates, so we'll see you next week with a new video. Bye!